I don't know about you, but in every Hugh Jackman movie I watch, I imagine there's one point where his adamantium claws are about to come out. It makes it more interesting.
So is this the bit where you say I told you so?
No, this is where I say that without the booze, I wouldn't even have the guts to do that jump. As your coach, I think you're crazy.
I don't know what I was thinking.
But as your friend, I say you gotta do it. This is your moment.
I need a practice jump.
What do you need to know you don't know already? It's higher than you jumped before. You're gonna go faster than you've ever gone before. You're gonna fly farther than your tiny little brain can handle, but it's just a jump. Yeah, simple.
Eddie the Eagle tells the true story of the British skier whose lifelong quest to go to the Olympics makes him into an Olympic ski jumper, and how that turned out for the country and the Olympics in 1988. Can the movie succeed, or does it tumble all the way down the hill? Here's 5 things you might want to know about Eddie the Eagle. I can start by telling you one place the movie certainly succeeds. I think that's in its heart. This is a very emotionally effective movie. I think the performances lead a lot of credence to this true story and the real emotion that was involved in it. There are definitely some moments that you might feel a tear or two trying to escape from your eyeballs. It's also very thematically interesting. In other words, it keeps the themes of competing for competing's sake right at the top of the story, so you always know what the movie's about, and that helps drive home the emotion even more. Another thing the movie has going for it is that old story of the underdog, especially competing in sports. We love a good underdog story, and Eddie the Eagle certainly is one. It's also got that whole thing of will he or won't he. With a lot of fictional tales, you always assume they can write the ending they want, but when you're dealing with a true-to-life story, you know they're kind of confined a little bit by the actual events and what actually happened. And because of that, there's kind of a level of unknown, which is interesting considering you could just look it up, but it really kind of keeps you engaged in the story if you don't already know the ending. And I love that about this, and I loved rooting for Eddie the Eagle all the way through this thing. And I think the reason this works, you have to give a lot of credit to the performances. Hugh Jackman and Taron Egerton are both really good in this, at least at points. And when I say really good, I mean really good. There are moments that both Jackman and Egerton have that really draw upon their skills to bring out the emotion in a very strong way. I was impressed with the performances of this, especially considering the tone of this movie is a little bit cheeky and kind of has that dry British sense of humor, but still they managed to pull an authentic sense of emotion, which I think is pretty difficult in a movie like this. Of course, there is the other side to that coin, which in a movie like this is a little bit of the cheese factor. Now, you're dealing with an inherently cheesy plot because of the underdog succeeding, those kind of things. But I think they do some things in this movie that unnecessarily emphasize the eye-rolling cheese nature of what's going on here. It's really interesting, too, because it comes in between those really effective moments. So it's kind of that back and forth thing of, wow, that works for me. That's a little bit silly. Wow, that works for me. I found that a little too cheesy. So that back and forth start and stop of the genuineness of the emotion can have a negative impact on the overall feel of the film. But the thing that brought the movie down the most for me, albeit not a ton, and it could just be me in this, I felt like it was embellished a little bit. You know how you can feel around the edges of a true story where they take characters and make them a little more villainous than they probably were in real life, and the good guys are a little more triumphant than they probably were in real life? It's the sanding off of those edges that gets to me as a moviegoer. I want you to think I'm intelligent enough to know that these are real human beings in this story and not to just paint caricatures of them instead. Overall, I feel like Eddie the Eagle is a really well done underdog story that'll probably get you in your heart even if your brain short circuits a little bit through it. I give it a solid B. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. You can check out more about what goes on here. And we'll get to the Best Ever Challenge, by the way, here in a second. Just click on the cards up here and you'll have instant access to other videos that have happened, a poll about what I should review next week. By the way, the reason I'm reviewing this week is because you voted last week. Thank you for doing that, as well as other stuff with the channel. You can also follow me on Periscope, Aaron Dicer. I Periscope Mondays at 5 with any movies I may have missed here at YouTube. I do see them all, so want to have those conversations with you. You can also subscribe to the podcast. It's called SiftPop, S-I-F-T-P-O-P. If you do the podcast thing, I encourage you to check it out. We have a lot of fun talking pop culture and movies and the like. All right, on to the best ever challenge. This is where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice. Let's go with Hugh Jackman. What's the best Hugh Jackman movie ever? For me, it's the one that you won't find on The Pledge or The Turn, but probably the next one. Take a guess at mine in the comments and also leave yours there as well. And by the way, the first person to get mine right does get that point. So be fast. As always, here's 5 extra seconds to hit the subscribe logo. It's right down in this corner.